12:37 on Power 98.7. Let's get into our next conversation with Chrispin Phiri, the DIRCO Spokesperson, Department of International Relations and Cooperation. And this conversation is about the South African government raising alarm over a controversial agreement between the United States and the Kingdom of ESWATINI, which, get this, has seen 5 dangerous foreign nationals deported from the US and housed in ESWATINI prisons, with reports that as many as 150 more hardened criminals or terror suspects could follow. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation says it is deeply concerned about the potential threat to South Africa's national security, given the proximity, the very close proximity and porous borders between the two countries. Now, we understand that the deportees rejected by their own countries include individuals convicted of homicide, child rape and aggravated assault. DIRCO has since summoned Eswatini's High Commissioner and is urging full transparency. Chrispin Phiri joining us on the line. Chrispin, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
So nice to speak to you, Tshego. Good afternoon.
Just before we get to this particular concern that you have as DIRCO, I want to just touch on what we heard in the news, the issue of the military camps from Basotho nationals that could possibly be actually operating in South Africa. Has DIRCO had the chance to speak to someone from Lesotho about this very matter and this concern?
As I understand it, I'm not sure if it's an issue that has been conveyed to us through the diplomatic channels, but we are aware that the South African police services have said that they have sought to verify these claims and they don't seem credible. And I think we would then give space to the South African police services to further amplify what their findings are.
All right. So you, of course, as DIRCO, have got a huge concern, and understandably so, about these criminals that have now been deported from the US and housed in Eswatini prisons. As the government, you then summoned, the Eswatini High Commissioner this week. Was there formal notification given prior to the deportations from your understanding?
No, we were not engaged, but we must say we do respect that the Kingdom of Eswatini has the right to enter into sovereign agreements with other states as a sovereign country itself. And so we do not want to say that we will dictate what the agreement should be. But what we are concerned here about is that we have seen a confirmation from even the government spokesperson saying that this is the first batch. There's likely more individuals of this caliber to come. And we really want to understand from our Eswatini counterparts how these individuals will be contained and so on, because this really does have national security implications for South Africa, but also so it may have immigration policy issues as well, given the fact that if you have really, really dangerous individuals within an earshot of South Africa, given our free movement dispensation with SADC countries, this is something that we really think we should look very closely into and understand from our Swati counterparts. What exactly would they do to ensure that these individuals do not in any way harm South Africa's national security interests?
And I suppose there's also the huge concern that we perhaps should have the names, should we not, Chrispin, so that we are able to track these individuals should they be able to make their way into South Africa?
Well, in terms of Interpol and all of that, we would be able to know exactly the movements of these individuals. But of course, we don't want to be in a situation where we are reacting at all. We want to ensure that this is a situation that can be adequately managed. And of course, these individuals are extremely dangerous. Even their own home countries have indicated that they would not be likely to accept them back into their home countries. So that really tells you what we are dealing with here. Well, that is the information that the State Department or the Homeland Department has put out publicly. So we really are concerned, and I think us raising our concerns with the Kingdom of Eswatini and further engagements to continue would give us a sense of exactly what this fully entails for the Republic.
Do we know which countries these deportees come from?
According to the Homeland Department information, we are looking at individuals from countries like Laos, Venezuela, Jamaica, several other countries that this has been publicly reported on. But I think the countries of origin for us is not the concern. It is the caliber of the individuals. And And the idea that this is just the beginning, there will be even more that will be coming. And that really, really does warrant us to register our concern with the kingdom.
Absolutely. And I think it's great that it's not reactionary, what you want to do and the conversation that you want to have with the kingdom of Eswatini. When did you first become aware, Chrispin, of these 5 deportees and that they had actually arrived in that kingdom?
Well, we, like all citizens, would be monitoring a number of public engagements from all countries. And when the State Department announced this and the government spokesperson then confirmed it, we then were aware of the issue, and we then sought to verify it as well directly with, as you said, the High Commissioner for Eswatini in South Africa, and for us to also convey our concerns with the High Commissioner. So it's been a process of seeing what is being said in public platforms by government officials of other countries, but also there has been an attempt to verify this directly with the High Commission here. And that is then how we knew that this is certainly something that will be taking place.
What has the response been from the kingdom?
The High Commissioner has really undertaken to convey our concerns. Of course, ambassadors in their nature are not people who would make a decision on the spot, but of course they would then raise our concerns with the capital, and then we would continue this engagement through the diplomatic channel.
I mean, this is an odd one, but have you received any form of official communication from the United States regarding its border deportation strategy, and specifically why they then decided that Eswatini, is a country for the selected destination of these deportees? I mean, you did say that, look, the 2 countries can have their own discussions without involving us at all.
Yes, and that's really the point. And I think they would have those discussions, and they would enter into whatever agreements they enter into. But of course, we have a duty to then also engage countries within our proximity about some of these things and what the implications are for us. But ordinarily, it's not something that they would engage a third-party nation with. It's a bilateral issue between them, and we respect that. Mm-hmm. But we do want to show that our bilateral interests with Swaziland, for example, Eswatini, are not affected by some of these issues.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a call from Sello in Mamelodi as we speak to Chrispin Phiri, who is the Department of International Relations and Cooperation spokesperson, on what they have now done, just to have an understanding from the Kingdom of Eswatini through the High Commissioner, as to what the plan is going to be with these deportees that have been sent from the United States. And as you heard from Chrispin, saying that, there are more that are actually going to be sent there to the Kingdom of Eswatini. You too can engage with us on 0861 987 000 or drop us an X at PowerFM987 at Tshego Moagi _ Sello, good afternoon. What's your take on this conversation?
Good day, my dear. Good day.
Yes, go ahead.
What I would like to find out, before these criminals were sent to Eswatini, what is the gain? Is there a financial gain? Because remember, these people have to be maintained at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So what is the Eswatini gaining out of it? Did the Eswatini raise up their hand and say, bring these criminals here? At what cost? What is the gain on it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that would be a question for the Kingdom of Eswatini, Sello. But Chrispin, I'm not sure if you'd be able to respond to something like that. Thank you, Sello.
Your response is better than mine, sir.
Thank you for that, Chrispin. Truly appreciate it. So when we then speak, of course, about the concerns of border security and immigration, Chrispin, when it comes to this particular situation, it does border on that, right? Where we don't know what could happen moving forward with this very situation. And if it does happen, do you think that the US would ever approach South Africa for such a conversation?
No, we don't believe that. We have our own facilities here. We have our own system. But we don't have a prisoner transfer program with some countries or any country at the moment. So it wouldn't fit in any form our legislative regime. And In the past, although I must just say, Correctional Services has debated whether it should be able to take foreign nationals who are incarcerated here and deport them back to their own countries. But there again, we need to seek guarantees that indeed these individuals who are incarcerated here will continue to serve their sentence in those other countries. So it's a really complex engagement from our point of view. We would rather ensure that these individuals serve their sentences in South Africa, in our case, and then once they're done, they're then deported to their countries of origin. That's been the technicality around it. So it wouldn't be a discussion that we would actually even entertain with another country, that we would then host the criminals that are unwanted in their country. I think that's not something that South Africa would ever entertain.
So, of course, then you're giving the assurance to South Africans that you are definitely, actively monitoring this particular situation.
Certainly, and there are continuous engagements with our counterparts in the Kingdom of ESWATINI, and we do trust that this is a matter that they understand the concerns around, and will also ensure that as a sisterly nation, we really get to address it through deep cooperation.
Chrispin, let me thank you for your time. Truly appreciate it.